Oppenheimer is a 2023 biographical war film written, directed, and co-produced by Christopher Nolan. The film is centered around the life of J. Robert Oppenheimer, the American theoretical physicist described as the father of the atomic bomb for his role in the Manhattan Project, the World War II undertaking that developed the first nuclear weapons. Based on the 2005 biography American Prometheus by Kai Bird and Martin J. Sherwin, the film chronicles Oppenheimer's studies, his direction of the Los Alamos laboratory during World War II, and his fall from grace due to his 1954 security hearing, framed between his perspective and that of United States Atomic Energy Commission member Lewis Strauss. The film stars Cillian Murphy as Oppenheimer and Robert Downey Jr. as Strauss. The ensemble supporting cast includes Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Florence Pugh, Josh Hartnett, Casey Affleck, Rami Malek, and Kenneth Branagh. Oppenheimer was announced in September 2021 after Universal Pictures won a bidding war for Nolan's screenplay. It is Nolan's first film not distributed by Warner Bros. Pictures since Memento, 2000, due to his conflicts regarding the studio's simultaneous theatrical and HBO Max release schedule. Murphy was the first cast member to sign on the following month, with the rest joining between November 2021 and April 2022. Pre-production began in January 2022, and filming took place from February to May. The cinematographer, Hoyt van Hoytema, filmed Oppenheimer in a combination of IMAX 65mm and 65mm large-format film, including, for the first time, scenes in IMAX black-and-white film photography. As with many of his previous films, Nolan used extensive practical effects, with minimal compositing work. Oppenheimer was Nolan's first to receive an R rating in the United States since Insomnia in 2002. Oppenheimer premiered at Le Grand Rex in Paris on July 11, 2023, and was theatrically released in the US and the UK 10 days later by Universal. Its concurrent release with Warner Bros.' Barbie was the catalyst of the Barbenheimer cultural phenomenon, encouraging audiences to see both films as a double feature. The film grossed over $960 million worldwide, becoming the third highest-grossing film of 2023, the highest-grossing World War II-related film, the highest-grossing biographical film, and the second highest-grossing R-rated film. Widely regarded as Nolan's magnum opus and one of the best films of 2023, the film received acclaim, for its direction and screenplay, ensemble cast, technical innovation, and historical accuracy and faithfulness to the source material. Among its many awards, Oppenheimer was named one of the top 10 films of 2023 by the National Board of Review and the American Film Institute, with 5 wins at the 81st Golden Globe Awards, including Best Motion Picture, Drama, 7 wins at the 77th British Academy Film Awards, including Best Film, and 3 wins at the SAG Awards, including Best Ensemble. At the 96th Academy Awards, the film received a leading 13 nominations and won Best Picture and 6 additional awards: Best Director, Best Actor, Murphy, Best Supporting Actor, Downey Jr., Best Film Editing, Best Cinematography, and Best Original Score. The film is presented as a nonlinear narrative, with 2 different timelines interwoven together. The first is fiction, playing out in color, about Oppenheimer giving a subjective account of his life at his 1954 security hearing, while the second is fusion, in black and white, which is Lewis Strauss's viewpoint on Oppenheimer during his 1959 Senate confirmation hearing. The plot summary is linear. In 1926, 22-year-old doctoral student J. Robert Oppenheimer grapples with anxiety and homesickness while studying experimental physics under Patrick Blackett at the Cavendish Laboratory at the University of Cambridge. Upset with Blackett's attitude, Oppenheimer leaves him a poisoned apple, but later retrieves it. Visiting scientist Niels Bohr advises Oppenheimer to study theoretical physics at the University of Göttingen instead. Oppenheimer completes his PhD there and meets fellow scientist Isidor Isaac Rabi. They later meet theoretical physicist Werner Heisenberg in Switzerland. Wanting to expand quantum physics research in the United States, Oppenheimer began teaching at the University of California, Berkeley, and the California Institute of Technology. He marries Catherine Kitty Puning, a biologist and ex-communist, and has an intermittent affair with Jean Tatlock, a troubled communist psychiatrist who later dies by suicide. When nuclear fission was discovered in 1938, Oppenheimer realized it could be weaponized. In 1942, during World War II, U.S. Army Colonel Leslie Groves, director of the Manhattan Project, recruits Oppenheimer as director of the Los Alamos Laboratory, where an atomic bomb is to be developed. Oppenheimer fears the German nuclear research program, led by Heisenberg, might yield a fission bomb for the Nazis. He assembles a team consisting of Robbie, Hans Bethe, and Edward Teller at the Los Alamos Laboratory, and also collaborates with scientists Enrico Fermi, Leo Szilard, and David L. Hill at the University of Chicago. Teller's calculations reveal an atomic detonation could trigger a catastrophic chain reaction that ignites the atmosphere. After consulting with Albert Einstein, Oppenheimer concludes the chances are acceptably low. Teller attempts to lead the project after his proposal to construct a hydrogen bomb is rejected, but Oppenheimer convinces him to stay. After Germany's surrender in 1945, some project scientists questioned the bomb's relevance. Oppenheimer believed it would end the ongoing Pacific War and save Allied lives. The Trinity test is successful, and President Harry S. Truman orders the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, resulting in Japan's surrender. Though publicly praised, Oppenheimer is haunted by the mass destruction and fatalities. After Oppenheimer expresses his personal guilt in a private meeting with Truman, the president berates Oppenheimer and dismisses his urging to cease further atomic development. As an advisor to the United States Atomic Energy Commission, AEC, Oppenheimer's stance generated controversy, while Teller's hydrogen bomb received renewed interest amidst the burgeoning Cold War. AEC Chairman Lewis Strauss resents Oppenheimer for publicly dismissing Strauss's concerns about exporting radioisotopes and for recommending negotiations with the Soviet Union after the Soviets successfully detonated their own bomb. Strauss also believes that Oppenheimer denigrated him during a conversation Oppenheimer had with Einstein in 1947. In 1954, wanting to eliminate Oppenheimer's political influence, Strauss secretly orchestrated a private security hearing before a personnel security board concerning Oppenheimer's Q clearance. However, it becomes clear that the hearing has a predetermined outcome. Oppenheimer's past communist ties are exploited, and Groves's, Teller's, and other associates' testimony are twisted against Oppenheimer. After Kitty gives an impassioned testimony calling this out, the board chooses to uphold Oppenheimer's citizenship but revokes Oppenheimer's clearance, damaging Oppenheimer's public image and limiting his influence on nuclear policy. In 1959, during Strauss's Senate confirmation hearing for Secretary of Commerce, Hill testified about Strauss's personal motives in engineering Oppenheimer's downfall, resulting in Strauss's nomination being voted down. In 1963, President Lyndon B. Johnson presented Oppenheimer with the Enrico Fermi Award as a gesture of political rehabilitation. A flashback reveals that Oppenheimer and Einstein's 1947 conversation was not about Strauss, but about Oppenheimer's legacy, with him believing that they indeed started a chain reaction that will destroy the world.